You run one of the world's biggest and most global airlines. What does a more fragmented world mean to Emirates?
Well, I think with the announcements of these tariff arrangements between Canada, Mexico, and possibly even Europe going forward, we're in uncharted territory, Guy. One can see inflationary pressures coming in as a result. We can see that affecting discretionary incomes with regard to how they impact demand for air travel. But I'm not saying that we've been here before, but this airline has been used to sort of global traumas of some status, if you like, over the last 15 or 20 years, more actually. So we'll have to navigate our way through it. The demand for our services in the next 6 months or a year are very strong, irrespective of this. But which way this goes, it's uncharted. So we'll just have to wait and see.
You've, in the past, proved to be very flexible and adapted the network very quickly to take advantage, you could argue, of some of the disruptions that we've seen. But President Trump last night warning of economic discomfort. You talk about the fact that demand is holding up at the moment. What does economic discomfort, do you think, mean?
Well, I think as far as the airline is concerned, it means that the decisions taken for travel may be compromised, reduced, the scale of which I'm not altogether sure at the moment. My own view is that this will resolve itself. There will be, over the next 6 months, a year, a reset. I think the level of tariff will possibly fall depending on which countries enter into some kind of transactional arrangement with the United States. I think this is just the beginning of a period of uncertainty. As the President says, economic discomfort. Will it last forever? No, I don't believe that for a moment. The global economy is in a little bit of a fragile state at the moment, but, you know, there are a lot of things going on which will survive this what could be a tariff war. And I remain optimistic that certainly we can work our way around all of these particular issues going forward.
In other news, Sir Tim, overnight China setting a pretty bullish economic forecast, talking about 5% growth. I think last year you picked up 14 extra routes into China. The talk is that you're going to get another 14 this year. That will take you to what, circa 91 in terms of the flights you're able to offer. Is that your expectation? Would you expect to pick up the same number of routes that you picked up last year this year?
I think the Chinese government has been very accommodating. They want to see business moving between China, certainly the UAE and beyond. And I think, to the point I was saying earlier, it's at the moment there are other things going on in the economy other than tariff wars. And some countries are minded to expand their GDP. China is one of those. With the expansion of GDP will come for demand for air travel. And therefore, we would, you're right, we have got further access into China. We'll be pushing more in there beyond the point we just added in the last week or so, starting in July. It's a great market. It's a very buoyant market. It's a well sought after market. So we will go there and continue to expand our operations there. It's a great market for us.
Would you anticipate the same sort of pickup that we saw last year, though, in terms of the access that you are granted? Is that the trajectory we're on in terms of opening that market up?
We are constrained by aircraft availability, of course, and as you know, the story with the 777X is known to all. So long as we are constrained, we can't do as much as we would like to do now. But as soon as we get these aeroplanes, we'll be moving into the Asian theatre more than we are perhaps today.
OK, let's talk about the availability of aircraft. You bring it up, Tim. Europe has announced a big defence package. Airbus is already struggling with a supply chain that is partly as a result of labour, partly as a result of parts. If Europe focuses on defence spending, do you think that will make Airbus's challenges even greater?
Well, obviously this is something completely new. So yes, if you're going to spend hundreds of billions on defence, using the same suppliers into the civil aerospace industry, there's going to be difficulties. I would if I was one of those suppliers, I'd be looking very seriously about expanding my capabilities, creating new plant, and responding very quickly to that. But I tend to find with a lot of European manufacturers, there's a high degree of conservatism, and therefore this could be an issue that faces the European aerospace industry if this goes ahead. There's plenty of room and opportunity for everybody to get their act together and supply both. But if they tend to prioritize defense before aerospace, then there could be issues for the whole of the supply chain, not just in Europe but elsewhere. So hopefully that's not going to happen.
So, Tim, the Dubai Air Show is later this year, so that's kind of the North Star in our compass as we look forward to try and understand what you are going to be delivering in terms of orders. There's all kinds of challenges at the moment. You've got an A350-1000 that's got a Rolls-Royce engine story that you are not happy with at the moment. Does that take the A350-1000 off the table? Does it make it more likely that when Kelly Ortberg comes and visits you in a few weeks' time, that potentially you could be talking about a 787 order or continuing with the 787 order? What are you thinking about at the moment in terms of the orders that you are potentially going to be making? Any aircraft that stand out at the moment? Anything that we should look forward to in Dubai later this year?
Well, you're right. We are likely, or we have 210 777s on order at the moment. We would obviously be ordering more of those in the fullness of time, simply because our network is expanding, and is obviously the aircraft that we got heavily involved in the design of which back in 2010. So what happens at the air show? Yes, we're looking at additional fleet, bearing in mind that we are looking now into the mid-30s, simply because the manufacturers are not in a position really to offer many new aircraft to any client before the turn of this decade. So you need to look at locking in positions for both Boeing and Airbus, given the ability to meet the current backlog and get that sorted out. So the air show will give us an opportunity, probably the timing, to order some more aircraft. I can't actually say which ones they are. You've named a few of them. But basically, we're in the market for the 350s. We're in the market for the 777s. Unfortunately, we're not in the market for the 380 yet.